Hello, Lauren Hogan.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, Flamettes. Hello, Kendall. Hello, Tribble. Welcome to Laugh and Learn. This is our 23rd edition. Ooh, we almost
edition. Yes, indeed.
We almost at the halfway point, y'all. Come on in, Flamettes. Come on in. Y'all know what's going on in the world, what's going on in the country. But first of all, we want to welcome you guys to Laugh and Learn. Thank you guys for subscribing to Nick Smith News on YouTube, Lauren Hogan, and Flame Monroe. And the Black Effect Network is now about to acquire a YouTube page.
Yes,
so
indeed.
Yay! We'll be a little bit more out there, so it'll be easier for you guys to reach us. Mm-hmm. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Lauren, how was your week?
My week was actually good. It was a little busy on my other work front. And, I got to travel this week officially.
Where you going?
I gotta go to Florida.
Oh, the mani-pedi
Yes,
state.
I gotta go to Florida Wednesday night. I have to do an event actually with Little Kim and Trina.
Whoop whoop, pull over that ass too fat.
So
no matter what people see, what we got to, baby. If they don't show up, you could have got some trainees. I know some trainees that can do Little Kim and Trina real bad.
Oh, really?
I could do I used to do Trina.
Yeah.
Now I could do Tank and Trina.
Oh, that might be interesting.
Lauren is on her way to Florida. She's coming to get some sun. I hope she meets somebody's son, but she's coming to get some sun. It's about that time, y'all. Lauren, yeah. I'm just putting it out there. It's about time for my baby to get her boyfriend. Let me just say it.
Okay. Well, how was your week, Flame?
I'm still working on you getting the boyfriend. Don't be trying to deflect or distract. This ain't Trump. Oh
my gosh! Not the orange man.
I almost knocked my helmet off and my
See, that
headphones.
was karma.
That was definitely karma
in real time.
My week was good. This week coming up, Friday, I start back on the road with Tiffany. We're back on tour with Tiffany Haddish in Huntington Beach. Sunday, I will be at Traffic in Atlanta with the Stasha Sanchez, Naisha Dupree, Nicole Love, Raquel Lord, and co-hosting with Sophia McIntosh, as well as Monday at the Stars of the Century in Atlanta. So if you're in Atlanta, come on out to the drag shows. I'm doing a drag show. I did a drag show in almost 2 years.
I know.
I still got it. It's just slow.
I was with you with the last one that you did in Atlanta.
I still got it. It just moved a little slower. And then Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, Tuesday I'm taping the Queen Supreme Court with T.S. Madison. This is tentatively. And Sophia McIntosh. So we want you guys to join. Oh my God, this will be a show for the memories.
In other words, you are very booked and very busy.
I'm glad to be working. Thank you, Jesus, because we are in the middle of waiting for something. I know Nick Smith is here. We're going to bring Nick in a minute, but we want to just get y'all, acclimate y'all in. Come on in. Thank you guys for joining us here at Laugh and Learn. I want to tell you that, no, I don't want to tell y'all that. I was going to tell y'all something. I can't tell y'all that. I got an announcement to make, but I got to wait until I got the email. Lauren is going to get it before me. She the manager. Because I'm dying to tell y'all, but I can't tell y'all shit.
Oh, yeah, no, we're not going to say nothing yet.
Oh, no, girl, you ain't. No. See how y'all, it was me. I want to tell it. That's how y'all. That's her acting like a manager.
See, don't make Lori go out the window and Lauren come in. We're going to keep Lori here.
Bring Nick in, Lauren.
All right.
Bring our partner, Nick Smith, in. Let me tell y'all something. We are doing pretty well over at iHeart, Apple, Spotify, and Amazon, and it's only because of you all. So thank you guys.
Indeed.
Thank you guys. Thank you for following me on Coffee Time. Thank you for joining me on Love Lounge, where we have the best time. Oh, my God. I be higher than God. Hi, Nick.
Hello, and you do know you have to keep Flame quiet, Lauren. So every now and then, just pinch her.
Why she gotta be quiet?
Why you can't just come in and be pleasant?
No.
Why you can't just come in and be pleasant?
Yes.
Exactly.
Now he got a lot of nerve.
About that.
You got nerve.
No, because I'm here to help Lauren, because you were picking on Lauren about a boyfriend and all that. So now we double teaming you.
I appreciate that.
There you go.
You ain't got no significant other either while you bumping your chops. Now, thank you very much. What is this? The single?
I'm working on it. Flame. I've been jumping
Come on, you been doing what?
I've been jumping every morning, trying to leave that bread alone. I'm trying to do all the right things. Hey, I'm out there in these streets. I'm trying now.
Ooh,
I'm trying.
Nick, don't say you for the streets. Don't do that. Let's not do that.
Let me tell you something, Nicholas. I know you're trying to reel somebody in because I see the comments on when you're jumping rope. People are watching you jump rope, but not for the exercise of it all.
Lord,
I see it when I see it, and this ain't Love Lounge.
You know what?
How are you, Nick? How was your week?
Week was good. Earlier this week, because we're going back into the office here next week or so. So I had to go ahead and break down and buy a car, as much as I've resisted doing that. So went ahead and got a car and something simple, and I'm excited to just be able to possibly even zip up to Chicago and see my mama.
Don't be trying to downplay it. You bought a Beamer. If you don't knock it off.
That's not the point.
You did buy a Beamer, though.
It's I'm trying to keep up with Lauren.
Excuse me. My car was purchased 3 years ago, and it was certified pre-owned. So I'm sorry. I got it at a discount rate, and so.
Hey.
Do they sell cars at the dollar store? Is my
I am
question.
excited.
Because I go buy me one from the dollar store. I can handle that. Nick, what's happening? Listen.
I
Where
know
we
that's
going?
right.
We're gonna let you start this lead and kick this off because it's so much going on. But the biggest news is that what we starting with first?
Yeah.
The biggest news is all over the news on every channel. We have missed every show that we regularly watch because we are sitting back watching it happen in real time in our lifetimes. The verdict. I'm not going to speak on it first. I'm going to let y'all go with it. I do want to say this, though, before I get started. I told y'all a few weeks ago that judge was in on it. Okay, y'all go ahead.
Go ahead, Nick.
I'm going to just go ahead and say this because I do think this is one where the Flamettes are definitely going to want to chime in. So if we dip on out from me to do that, I want you all to make sure that we hear from all those who continue to tune in and support us. But I understand today we did get a statement released. One of our reporters on the ground, President Biden is expected to deliver a statement once the jury renders a verdict in the Derek Chauvin trial. So the White House will be notified when the jury actually reaches a decision. The White House will be notified, hey, jury has reached a decision. Mr. Biden will then come out, President Biden will come out and make a statement. And it's no matter the outcome, we're reporting that it will acknowledge the grief and outrage sparked by George Floyd's death and other unarmed black men by police. That Biden is supposed to specifically talk about what he and Vice President Harris have learned as they conducted and met with civil rights activists and members of Congressional Black Caucus over the last year. So they're really going to talk about that and are supposed to address the concerns of people who are out there who have been fighting for justice now for the last year and a half.
Yeah, I'm concerned. And Flame and I were kind of talking about this before you even came on, Nick. Like, I have to go to Florida Wednesday night. So the likelihood of me being, out of state in Florida when this verdict comes down, and then I have to do a whole event on Saturday, I'm very concerned about it. In all honesty, because I think that obviously, if we don't get a guilty verdict, the backlash is going to be much bigger in terms of whether people are going out to riot and loot. Like I was watching the news last night, at least for the local news, like Beverly Hills and Rodeo Drive and everything else is boarding up their businesses in preparation for this. I also saw that the Minneapolis school districts are actually going to remote learning as of Wednesday because they want to protect the kids and that way they're not in school.
Yeah.
So I'm very concerned what the outcome is. I think that if we do get the guilty verdict, I think it's going to be less. I still think that there's going to be something, but maybe we'll be on more of the peaceful side, at least maybe on our end. But I'm very concerned. I really am. I just hope that everybody stays safe and nobody, gets hurt. So
yeah, well, Lauren, you'll be traveling. You're there for work. Make sure you take the time you need for you too. Because I know that you always step in as a professional first. And I think that I want you to know that you are allowed to have a moment for yourself too. And to make sure you take care of you while you're out there because you won't be with your family.
Listen, what I'm doing the next day after I land, I am going to that's why I hope that the verdict's not out yet because I'm going to go to Sawgrass. For those of you that don't know, Sawgrass is like the outlets. Like if you're in California, you go to Palm Springs to the outlets. Sawgrass is the outlets. So I need to go do some retail therapy. That's my plan. So I'm like, can the verdict come down after I get back so y'all don't ruin my plans? Because I was taking some me time. I got like a massage planned. Mm-hmm. I was going to do some things for me. You know what I mean? So
she's going to get some sun. I hope he got a name. Listen to me. Anywho. So this is how I feel. I feel that the judge is in on it. I feel like the defense attorney, while I was watching it this morning, is so hell-bent on trying to push that the bystanders who were videotaping it, he's trying to make it like it was their fault that this fool killed this man. Because there is no way around it. He killed this man. There is no other word to say, but he murdered this man in our face. And then wouldn't take the stand. That is a law that I would like to have changed, Lauren. For them, if you commit the crime, and we have to watch this every day because we all have to watch this over and over and over because they show it every fucking day, then you should have to take the stand to explain yourself. I don't care who you are. OJ took the stand, and we knew that nigga. I'm talking to the black folks. We knew he wrote a book said "if" in very small print, and then they put "I did it." I'm telling you right now, please pay attention. I expect a guilty verdict, but I'm bracing myself because I know what country we live in and I know the social climate. I watched Chris Cuomo last night. I think he watches Coffee Time because he's still all of my lines. And he said last night on CNN that things are not going to change until white kids start dying. I'm not promoting violence, but the song Strange Fruit from Billie Holiday, into the trees in the strange fruit, until that fruit changes into another color that's hanging from them trees, we will not even get that law passed. What's the law, Lauren?
Oh, the Emmett Till
anti-lynching. It's been more than 200 years, and that law has not been signed. That bill still has not been signed in favor of black people being hung. I'm telling you right now, this is a modern day, what does they call it? Willie Lynch? Is it Willie Lynch?
Modern day lynching.
Modern day lynching, and I'm telling y'all, brace yourselves for this verdict. I'm hoping it should be a no-brainer. They should go to the room, 10 minutes, they should come back with a verdict. But that's not how it's going to play out. Just brace yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Brace yourselves. That's all I can say.
So I will say this. Did I want Derek Chauvin to get on the stand? Absolutely. Do I think he's a punk that he didn't? Yes. Was it in his best interest not to? Absolutely. Because as of what we know so far, he has 17 other incidents of him using excessive force on his jacket already. And that's just what we know of. So how many more there really are, we obviously don't know that. So I think that by him not getting up on the stand was him protecting himself, because he would have been open for the prosecution to really go after him for all of these other 17 incidents.
I'm giving y'all too much.
However, at the same time, though, Flame, I am going to have to disagree with you.
Come on with it.
Because if we take away the defendant's rights to be able to, have the option rather to testify on their behalf or not, I feel like we're going to fall into a system of being presumed guilty and not being presumed innocent until proven guilty. There are other, countries have other systems like that, and it's going to be very biased, because if we do it with this and we apply that across the board, we know that it's not going to be in our favor.
I understand what you're saying, but too many guilty ones are getting away with it by not taking the stand.
I agree.
Because when they don't take the stand, they can't get cornered. See, they're cowards at that moment when they commit the deed, but then when it's time to be questioned about it, back to the whole Frankenstein effect. We create monsters, but then we don't want to face the monsters that we created.
Yeah.
All of this is happening because Derek Chauvin decided that he wanted to kill George Floyd. I said it just like how I saw it. He decided in his head that I'm going to kill this man, and he did. And we watched it, and they are coming up with every excuse. They sound like a nigga on his way to jail. They got every excuse in the world. The exhaust pipe, then the people videotaping, then the people talking, and then he was taking drugs, and all of that. None of this would have transpired if you would not have murdered this man in our face in real time for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. And then when they put that dumbass supposedly doctor, whatever he was, on the stand last week talking about, he was in no pain, it's a tactic. That nigga should have laid on the courtroom floor and let Derek Chauvin put his knee on his neck with his hand in his pocket with all his full weight and twisting and moving and handcuffed for 9 minutes and 29 seconds, and then tell me after, when he dead and we was having his funeral, I would have walked right up to the dead body and said, it didn't hurt? Okay.
Go ahead, Nick. What are your thoughts?
Because I'm hot.
I'm not touching that.
I'm hot.
No, but Lauren, I agree with you. I think it is a slippery slope. I definitely understand him, invoking his Fifth Amendment right not to self-incriminate.
Mm-hmm.
I want to believe that the video that we all saw repeatedly and we continue to see, Flame and I were talking this morning. I said, Flame, I don't know why I'm still getting emotional about something that happened last year. Why is it still?
Because you see it every day.
Because it's inhumane.
And you see it every day.
And so I'm like, I said, Flame, we've got to have this. And then you and I've talked about this too, Flame, off camera. What does closure really mean? What does that mean? Because I'm not convinced, Lauren, and I so don't want to sound this way. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. You all know that. But I'm not convinced this is the last time we're going to see a situation like this. I'd like to believe everyone has learned, but I'm not convinced that not even a month from now, and I'm not putting it out there, and I want to be very careful and responsible with what I'm saying. I just don't know that behaviors of those who have the ability to invoke power and exert authority over others has been tempered to the point where that respect somehow from this trial has changed and altered their behavior. I fear for men and women who look like me, who still have to move about in situations with law enforcement individuals who may not have the level of respect they deserve.
Well,
that's
I think
it.
that's, but I mean, to say that though, that nothing's really changed, I think that that's accurate, because we look at, in the midst of this trial, we've had Daunte Wright being shot by the police. We just had Adam Toledo, 13-year-old boy, being shot by police.
Jesus.
And these are just incidents that are making the news. How many more people or people of color being killed by the police that are not even making the news? You know what I mean? So I think for you to say that, Nick, it makes a lot of sense, one, because what does the reform look like? You know, I read something the other day that says that the Chicago Police Department gets $5 million a day in funding. $5 million a day in funding. So if you do $5 million times 365 days a year, that's their budget. Plain and simple.
Right.
And we just have the incident of Adam Toledo being shot by the police, shot and murdered by the police. So to Flame's point, you hit them in your pocket. The police department does not need that much money. What are you using for that? Oh, you're taking, for instance, Kim Potter, I know we're going to talk about this later on down the show, but you're taking our taxpayer dollars, because that's what that is, and you're building fortresses around cop killers' houses now? That's what we're doing? So, anyway.
You brought up Adam Toledo. This gonna sound a little jacked up, y'all, but I don't take it how I'm saying it, but hear me deeply, because I might not say it correctly, because I didn't go to college, but I'm telling you how I feel as a parent, as a person, as a human. Adam Toledo was killed, and I know that they're killing we know that they're killing blacks, but we have said this on this show before. Once they're done with us, they're going to move on. They was beating up the Asians. Now they didn't kill the 13-year-old Latino boy. I'm telling you, black and brown and other and minorities, we need to band together, all together, to stand up for ourselves, because I'm telling you, when they have discarded us and got rid of enough of us, they're going to move on to you, because what they want, and when I say they, I don't mean white folks. I mean people in power who want power. They want all the power. And it ain't just white folks. It really is not just white folks. They just happen to be the ones that with the faces that we see in power. I'm saddened that they killed this 13-year-old baby. I saw his mother. I felt her pain. But at least it wasn't one of us. And and I'm not saying that in the disregard that it was a Latino boy. But now you all see that it's spilling over to you all. And then it's going to spill over to another nationality. And then it's going to spill over to another. Unless we stand together in unity to stop this shit. Because it's not going to stop unless we stop it. I said that the other day on Coffee Time. We have to stop this. We can't depend on the police. The police are not working for us. They had a whole article out today that all these ex-military was part of the what is it called?
The Oath Keepers.
Yeah, the Oath Keepers. And they all signed into the day, and they left the military to join the police force and brought the racism and the murder and the hate and the crime with them. Fuck the police. Well, I said what I said.
Well, I think that's true too in terms of
I feel like NWA.
I feel like that is true too in terms of what we saw from Eric Nelson today with the Derek Chauvin trial, because there were some things that he said that really stood out to me. For instance, we were talking about this a little before we got on live. Eric Nelson said, just because a suspect isn't shooting at you or kicking you or punching you or, lunging at you doesn't mean that excessive force isn't still needed. So then how do we define what excessive force is? Because if you're not seeing an imminent threat, that's the common knowledge, is that if there's an imminent threat, then maybe you need to use excessive force to protect yourself because you're in imminent danger. But if there's no imminent danger, but you're still under the auspices of, I can still use excessive force, that's part of the elitist problem in the police department, because oftentimes I feel like police forget that they actually work for us. Like, we pay you guys. Like, you're paid to protect and serve us. If you're not doing your job, then you shouldn't be getting paid. And like what I said before, Flamettes said, hit them in their pockets. But throughout the entire process of the defense just trying to provide their argument today, Eric Nelson wasn't making a lot of sense, and it started to make my head hurt. And after a while, I realized what he was saying made no sense. And I shouldn't try and rationalize that, because that would just be me going crazy. But I just think in a lot of ways that his argument and his testimony on behalf of his client was really showing the elitist attitude that the police department really has and what needs to be changed.
I do think, Lauren, that there has been a deity complex for a while now with members of law enforcement. I do believe that we are in a moment of reckoning. I think that a lot of people are questioning. Earlier this week, I told Flame, I said, Flame, did you see Pat Roberts? And we were like, what was that? We grew up watching the 700 Club, and I don't know that the 700 Club was necessarily compassionate about African-American issues that I remember. When I sit there and I watch this former presidential candidate have this whole conversation about how we've got to stop killing black men and boys, and how do you confuse a handgun with the taser, I'm like, maybe things really have started, that normal people are sitting back saying, you know what, this is a little, whoa, things have gotten out of hand here. We've got to change something. Something has got to change. Anytime we can have a situation, and I go back to George Floyd, that we can sit there and watch this guy. I told Flame, I said, Flame, it just seems like to me he was completely indifferent to the fact that people were yelling at him, get off of his neck. It was like he either zoned out, wasn't there, wasn't hearing it, didn't care.
He had his mind made up.
Just like,
he didn't zone out. He had his mind made up.
I think it was, like I said, that elitist attitude, because he's gotten away with it at least 17 times before. I don't think he thought
which is why you didn't go on that stand.
Exactly. That's why I don't think that there was any difference in him putting his knee on George Floyd's neck, because he's like, I've done this a myriad of other times and nothing's ever happened to me, so why should this time be any different?
And to the whole Pat Roberts incident, and as much as I appreciate him coming in at 97 years old to finally see us, let me say what the fuck I said. It's the same way as Meghan McCain's daddy. For years, he blocked black stuff. He blocked Martin Luther King becoming a national holiday. He was one of the last people to sign on. John McCain, may he rest in peace, but he was one of the last people to sign on to make Martin Luther King a national holiday in Arizona. He also was part of the top 8 in the 80s that stripped a lot of people, white folks. They lost their homes. They lost their bank accounts. He was a part of that. So at the 11th hour that they did find God, thank God for Jesus, that they made a statement and he came out his deathbed to dispute Trump, even though Trump has been disrespecting him the entire time. That's kind of like, it's a little late. You know what I mean? It's when you had ample
I hear you,
opportunity.
but Flame, the whole idea. Because you're a Christian.
No, I'm not.
Never too late to receive
no, I'm
Jesus.
fucking not. I am not a Christian. I love the Lord, but I don't want to be affiliated with Christians. Christians kill everybody.
Flame. Lauren, help.
I mean,
I'm definitely dodging
I
that
can't
one.
exactly disagree with that. Y'all know I'm a spiritual person. That's why I got quiet, because I was like, kind of agree with her.
Me and God got our own thing. We like me and Mrs. Jones. We got a love thing going on. Shit.
But I mean, to that point though, with Pat Roberts though, I even saw a news report about John Bonner. All of a sudden, he's a former congressman, is coming out and saying that the GOP is corrupt, and he's trying to bring all these to the things to the forefront of how corrupt the GOP is and different things. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of this, because we've said it. People don't want to be on the wrong side of history. People are seeing more and more that white supremacy side ain't the best side to be on these days. So
and the cancel culture. The cancel culture is fucking with their pockets. See, understand that the cancel culture is fucked up to me, but they got the right idea, because when they cancel you, they stop your money. This is all we talking about. Hit them in the pockets, they'll fix it.
Right.
The cancel culture is canceling I know they waiting to get me, but y'all can come on, because I ain't scared.
Because we're talking about McConnell and how he flip-flop on the donations. Companies need to stay out of who gets money. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't mean when you all don't. Hold up. I meant what I was trying to say was, corporations should stay out of politics, because Pepsi and Home Depot and the others had weighed in on the voting situation in Georgia. And he was like, companies need to stay out of politics. They have no place in politics.
But still give us money, though.
But we've been donating.
When we got a campaign.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
But to that point, though, that
Lord.
reminds me, I do want to give a good shout out to Will Smith. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he was filming a movie in Georgia, and he completely shut down production and took the film out due to Brian Kemp passing that new Jim Crow bill. So great shot. I know a lot of people lost their jobs, but it was sometimes what's the lesser of two evils. So shout out to him.
As we put a button on Derek Chauvin, Flame, what is it that you really want people to do? Because you were talking about, Nick, just stay home that day if you can.
I'm traveling. I'm hoping to be home when the decision is made, because I need to be home close with my children and close to my jewelry. And I ain't talking about these earrings, because I don't know what's going to pop off. But I am prepared. Let me say that I am prepared. I'm going to go stock up on food, because I don't think that it should take 2 or 3 weeks, but they might drag it out because of fear of what might happen in this country. I think that this country is already a powder keg waiting to explode, and this might just be the light for the fuse, honestly. This decision, either way, too, because understand, as much as we want him to be found guilty, so many people want him to be found innocent to say that they won and we lost. This is not about he was guilty or innocent. This is about we won, and it's still going our way, and y'all are losing. That's how I see it.
This is something that, Flame brought up. She was watching a documentary called, the United States versus the KKK. So this is going to be on a lighter note before we, segue. Just just so you've got two different things. But Flame was watching a documentary called The United States versus KKK, and it was surrounded around an individual named Beulah Mae, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Beulah Mae. What's her last name, Nicholas?
Beulah Mae Donald.
Beulah Mae Donald.
Donald.
Her son was actually murdered by the KKK. He was lynched for no reason, similar to what we were talking about with the anti-lynching bill and the reason why it came about.
What year, Lauren?
81.
1981. So
In
it was
Alabama.
very recent. It was very recent. But her son was actually lynched. She took the KKK to Supreme Court, and she actually won her case for her son being murdered. So,
let me tell you about that case. She won. She did win. She was just a small little black lady. They gave her death threats. They tried to kill her. They threatened to kill this woman and her whole family. She just wanted justice because they murdered her son. So the two white boys that went out to do it were young. They were 19, 20, young. And they just said, we're going out and kill somebody black. So they called the young man to the car, put a gun to his head and told him to ask for directions. Then we came to the car to give them directions, us being, just being cordial, being what we do. Hey, can you give me directions? They put a gun to his head, told him to get in. They killed him. They weren't even going to charge him with capital murder. The only reason they charged him with capital murder was because he had $1 in his wallet, and they stole his $1. They stole his $1 was more significant than his life in the courts and eyes back then in 81. But to be fair, the judge back then, who happened to be very, very Caucasian, they sentenced those boys to life without parole, but the judge said no, and he sentenced them to the death penalty. So hats off to that judge. So, and as much as we want to say it's racist, it is racism in this country, and it will probably be racism forever until God just blow this country up and get rid of everybody. We all got to start over. But it will probably be racism forever. But there are good people, and the difference is right from wrong. Here's my problem. Right from wrong. I don't care what color you are. Right from wrong. When you're doing wrong. You can't fucking kill nobody because of their skin color. See, Chris Cuomo wasn't all the way wrong. He said it not tactfully. He said it bold too. Until their kids start dying, shit ain't gonna change. And I'm not promoting violence, but goddamn it, something got to change. Period.
Something has to change.
Well, I mean, and I
Something
told Flame
definitely
this
has to
too, is that, and actually, I mean, this isn't really a lighter note. It was just more of, we're getting some justice. It's a good justice story. But I found it interesting too that this case was in Alabama because just 5 years later, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Just Mercy, but it is based on a true story. There was a whole nother case where a black man was unjustly being accused of murdering this white woman. It wasn't true. He was absolutely innocent. He had witnesses and everything else. But again, the court system was stacked against him, that he had him on death row. For as soon as he was arrested, he was automatically put on death row without a trial, without anything like that, because he couldn't afford it. So I was surprised to hear this case that happened in Alabama, but I was happy to hear that this mother was able to get justice for her son. So
she fought too.
That is, Lauren, help me here because I forget his name. Brian, who is that? Brian, the one who's part of the,
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his last name.
He's amazing. That's what they do is he literally gathers law students who are still working their way through, and they take these cases for nothing.
Yep.
I met, just a complete side note, I met Barry Scheck, who was part of O.J. Simpson's defense team back when I was a reporter back in Rhode Island. And I remember I was like, wow, why is he doing this? So he was part of the Justice Project. That's what he said. The OJ case affected him so much that he would dedicate his life and his money to getting people who had been wrongly convicted out of jail. That he completely went from, this defense attorney to for profit to defending people who were indigent in most cases, and it was just he felt he needed to somehow connect and clean himself. Or
I am Kim Joy and the shit out of y'all today. All the trolls is out. Trolls. I thank you for watching and subscribing. Please like, share, and subscribe to Nick Smith News, Lauren Hogan, or Flame Monroe. Cause bitch, I'm blocking you left and right, bitch. I'm like a road sign, bitch. Blocked.
Flame's beating me today on the blocks. But no, thank you for everybody in the comments. His name is Brian Stevenson, and he has it's the Equal Justice Project.
Thank you.
The Equal Justice Project that he started. So. All right. Like I said, it's very interesting to hear these, different cases in the same state. So, but yeah.
Yep.
Can I just publicly say that if this verdict comes out to be not in our favor, if you guys decide, and I know everybody will be hostile, angry, upset, please don't tear up your own neighborhoods. Please don't destroy. Let me make you understand that there are so many elderly and disabled and incapacitated people in poor neighborhoods, and where they have one grocery store that everybody has to. If you burn down the grocery stores, if you burn down the markets, that's community, that's neighborhood. When people don't have cars, lifts are outrageous. A rental car is like a fucking $1,000 now for 2 days. You're destroying your own community. The older people, the people who are mentally challenged or incapacitated, who can't get to the store, they won't be able to get their medication or their food. Stop tearing up your own shit. Stop tearing up your own neighborhoods. I don't even see the logic in that. They're not going to, you all this hostility and all this anger and bitterness, take it somewhere else. Now, I ain't saying but take it out your neighborhood. Just take it out your neighborhood. Take it out your neighborhood.
Flame, I absolutely love that you said that. Because I think that we forget about, there are older people like use those bus stops who maybe need there's one of the girls, Lauren, you remember after the last demonstration, the one sister who stood out there says, stop doing this, because the signs that you're tearing down are for those who need to be able to plug up because they're housing insecure. Mm-hmm. They need that outlet to charge their phone. Stop doing that. And yeah, so definitely. Flame, thank you for that. Absolutely.
It is It's uncanny that y'all don't think about the elderly or think about the impaired or the sick, because they live in the same neighborhood as you and you see them all the time. It's not like you don't see these people, but you don't consider their feelings when you all, and we all gonna be in a rage. If this thing comes out to be not guilty, we all gonna be in an uproar. I just want to be in a place safe with my children, because it's gonna be a lot. I think it's going to be a lot.
Well, I think that's part of it too, but along the lines of don't destroy your own shit, because if y'all destroy your grocery store, where y'all gonna go to? Like, let's just be smart about this, people. So
we hit the United States versus KKK. One more cop thing I want to touch on to bring it to a lighter note, because we're talking about cops doing the right thing, like Cariole Horne.
We got to change, baby.
Yeah.
So Cariole Horne, for those who may or may not remember, she won her lawsuit. Ms. Horne was fired in 2006 for an incident in which she tried to stop an officer from using a chokehold on a handcuffed suspect. Horne served on the Buffalo Police Department for 19 of the 20 years required to receive a pension. So they fired her before she could qualify for her pension, and she's been fighting for that. And sure enough, she took it all the way to the top, and she won. She came out on top.
What's scary about that? What's the best thing about that? What's scary about that is thank you to Cariole Horne for sticking to her guns. Thank you for, and there are so many good cops. I just said fuck the police, but I wasn't talking about all the police. I seen some of the comments. I was talking about the bad police. What you don't understand, that what the bad police do to the good police is the good police see the bad police making all these mistakes, doing all this wrong. But if it's me against a whole force that can destroy me, I'm terrified. I don't want to change my livelihood. I don't want to change where my kids go to school. I don't want to say
one bad apple.
Well, it don't spoil the whole bunch, but it damn sure will fuck up 12, 13, 14 of the apples in the bunch. Let me be honest. Because what I'm saying is that my kids are in college. Okay, so say I'm working with a partner and I seen him molest a woman. I seen him steal from people. I've seen him rob the dope dealers on the street. He may not arrest them, but he take their drugs. He take their money. If I report him and then I turned against the shield, because that's what seems to be most important, is the shield more so than the person or the people that they're doing wrong, and then they all out against me. I'm put in situations where they're not covering my back in a situation, or I'm getting terrorized at home, or I have to quit my job as a police and go get a job working at McDonald's, but we live in a certain way. I don't want to change my lifestyle because I decided to do the right thing. I know that integrity should speak over that, but so many people are afraid of the backlash of speaking up. The whistleblowers are saying, hey, this ain't right. And if you try to tell that one person, but then he goes and tell the sergeant, then the sergeant calls you in and say, hey, you're not a team player. Yeah, this nigga foul. I'm a team player, but this nigga raping kids and doing all kind of shit. You're stuck between a rock and a hard place. So I get that part with the good cops, but the bad cops fucking it up for everybody. And the killers are really doing it. The killers are doing it worse than everybody. George Floyd, Amber Geiger, what's the new bitch name? Potter. Yeah, Potter. That bitch. She didn't mean, she's sorry. She ain't sorry. That bitch meant to shoot that boy. I said, tell the bitch to call me. She meant to kill him? I don't know. But she meant to shoot him.
Well, on that note, I think we can bring in some Flamettes.
Bring them on.
Hi, Bobby. How are you?
Bobby, you look very refreshed today. Hello,
Yes.
This is Bobby Clipper. I'm her $10 whore. She's my $10 pimp. I just need y'all to know that.
Love her.
Love her.
Okay, so Bobby, it's always good to bring you in from your perspective because this channel is very African American mostly, but we love you here. First of all, let me tell y'all, if y'all don't know who Bobby Clifford is, she has not missed her calling because I'm gonna get her ass on somebody's stage. She's absolutely hilarious. She's absolutely she's not a stand-up comedian. She's a sit-down comedian. But
I don't move much, comedian.
But she is absolutely. So, Bobby, from your perspective, when I say from your perspective, I'm speaking to you as a Caucasian woman, and you're watching this case. Okay. You're also an American. What do you think? And please, I ain't gonna tell you that. You're always honest and genuine with us. What do you think, Bobby, as a white woman on the outside looking at all this foolishness?
For the Chauvin case, specifically.
Yes.
Okay, for that, I think he's going to be found guilty. I was watching I'm looking at the TV, so that's why I'm looking over to that direction. They have been going over the closing arguments. I thought the prosecution did a good job. The defense was, I only watched the first half, then I got frustrated. They're trying to almost backpedal. They're trying to change what we're seeing. They're giving us little snippets from a different angle, but they're not showing the whole clip. They're just showing little bits. And he spent a long time on, innocent until proven guilty. And let's be sure. He even had some stupid half-assed comment about, they're not extraterrestrial people. That would be one type of way to go, is if it was a frivolous suit versus versus. I thought, how weak is your case that you're spending so much time explaining what the different first degree, second degree, after they already did that and the judge already did that. I'm nervous about the sentence. I think that's where you're gonna have people that aren't gonna be satisfied. Mm-hmm. I just don't think you're gonna be satisfied no matter what. Even if he got life in prison, I don't think for some people, because it's so heinous, people are gonna be happy.
Well, go ahead, Bobby.
Go ahead, sorry. No. This is such a horrible time in history for all of us.
Yeah.
As Flame knows, I haven't even had the TV on for almost 2 weeks because I can't take one more thing. Yeah. It's so devastating. So I'm a little nervous. I think that the advice that you guys are giving is very is good. Stay home, get everything that you need for when this does come. Everybody lay low. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think you're going to have happy people. I think we're going to see a lot more misery for this.
Well, I think what's going to be the next hurdle that we're going to have to get over is the appeals process. Because to Flame's point, I do think that the judge is very biased in this situation. And I would be curious to see any kind of sentence that he lays down for Derek Chauvin. However, the appeals process tends to work in the defendant's favor. It just does. Like we brought up Amber Geiger. There's different situations where, yes, you may get sentenced, but you go through an appeals process and all of a sudden you're out on probation and you don't have to serve any jail time. So I think that's going to be the next hurdle that's going to cause a bit of the unrest, is depending on how the sentencing goes and then what the appeals process looks like. And then we actually have a concrete view of, okay, this is what Derek Chauvin has to either time served or this is his sentence.
Big fear.
God, time served. Don't even throw that out there.
Right.
Big fear, though. If they give us one, they're going to want 10. Big fear. If they give us one.
But they already got 10.
It don't matter.
We already got them in the queue.
Yeah, but if we get this one, they're going to want 10 more, and not including the ones that's already up, like the Potter and the guy, the officer who killed the young boy in Chicago. I don't even know the officer's name. But they're going to want 10. That's my fear. And what is satisfaction? What is enough for us? I'm talking to the black folks. So if he gets 20 years, is that enough? If he gets 50 years, if he gets 1 year, with what you said, Bobby, what will make us satisfied? And on the other side, Bobby, because you're a white woman watching, I'm speaking to you now, not as a black person. What are your people saying? Because I know you have friends that are Caucasian that look like you, but may not think like you. Do they want Chauvin to get off, or do they honestly see what really happened? Because a lot of people see what they want to see, not see what really happened.
I think they see. This is so obvious, as we've said. This is like a black and white. There's no way other way to look at it. We're not the defense slicing and dicing the film. We all saw the snippet, and I keep saying to you, $20. Who cares? It was for $20. Like, I don't understand why the force was used at all. This isn't somebody who murdered somebody inside of the store, came out and sat in his car, and for $20. So my people, the ones that I've discussed it with, because I'm very careful about who I speak to about things that are, political, because sometimes family, they're around forever, so it's hard to get rid of. Everybody I see is, we're all on the same page.
Yeah, because that's why I always say more people. We are so much more alike than we are different, and right from wrong. People know. I don't care what color you are or what you identify as. You know right from wrong because I identify as this. You know the difference between right and wrong. You might know the difference between a penis and a vagina, but you damn sure know the difference between right and wrong. They be saying how they identify.
You do. I mean, if you were taught well, and you weren't someone who was forced as a little kid to be a survivor and don't know right and wrong, but. I'll be interested to see what happens with the Potter case as well, because, another take I had on that case was when she was yelling, taser, taser, taser. So I was an EMT in a past life. And whenever we defibrillated somebody, you'd yell clear, right? So everybody's off and touching on not near the body.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I almost thought of taser, taser, taser to her two cop friends so they get away from him and they don't get shot.
That's very interesting, Bobby, because if he was that's a good point, because if the other officers were touching Daunte at the time that she discharged her taser, they would have been tased too. So it's very interesting that nobody moved. They kept leaning towards her. And then that also goes to the negligence on her part even more so, because you're the senior officer on scene and you're tasing people and you're endangering your other officers. So that's a very good point, Bobby.
Bobby, we respect you over here and we appreciate you because I'm telling you, sometimes we want to know, what the other side is thinking. It's not like we on different sides, but you're a different nationality, you're a different culture, but we just, we mesh. That's why I tell you, we can coexist together, Bobby. Me and you, Bobby, you one of my best friends. If you didn't give me $10 every day, you would still be my girlfriend. See? But
now you'll get 20.
But our conversation just flows because we're talking about what's happening to Americans. Because whatever skin color we identify as, we still are Americans in all this. Yeah.
So here's another thing that I'm privileged myself to think. I never think of my color as white. Like I never think of my color. I first identify as an American because I'm not forced to have to think, to think of color. So yes, as Americans, I think we totally mesh. If that made any sense to you.
I could be your neighbor, Bobby. Plus I want to learn that Boston accent anyway.
Well, we don't think we have accents because we were here first. We think you all have the accents.
Oh
no, you guys definitely have an accent,
right?
But I agree with that thinking though, Bobby, because I had randomly watched a video of this little boy and his parent was asking him like, "What color are you?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm peach." And then he was like, "Well, what color is this friend?" And he was black, and he was just like, "Oh, he's brown." So it goes to we are a bit of a rainbow coalition in terms of who we are. Right. But I think that is a beautiful outlook that we need to really keep in mind and at the forefront, because that kind of keeps the innocence for not only kids, but how you raise them. So
I say Bobby Clifford for president. What y'all say, Flamettes? I say I say Bobby Clifford for president, baby.
I'd bore them to death. I'd bore them all to death.
We needed a boring one after that last one. That last one was a little too damn exciting.
And not in a good way.
It
was just never a dull
day. Well, I didn't say I meant and not in a good way.
It was always an eventful day for sure. So, but thank you, Bobby, so much as always.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you.
I know how to X out. So
I know how to do it now, so it's okay. Don't even worry about it.
Thank you, Bobby Clifford.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Who we bringing on? I need to bring on somebody angry.
Okay.
I want somebody angry. We want hostility.
Well, hello there.
Hello.
Hi, Allison.
Hi.
So, Al, let me tell y'all who
Hi,
Allison is. Al Lewis is in Lakeland, Florida, and she's running for city council down there. So, y'all make sure y'all follow her. She has great policies so far. While I've been looking at Allison. She comes on and she speaks and she talks. So, y'all make sure y'all follow Allison. Allison, what you thinking about this verdict since you in politics big time?
And I'm coming to your city on Wednesday too. So, what's the climate like?
Awesome. Let me know. Maybe we can get coffee if you want to. Nonetheless, but listen. So when coming from a law perspective, I graduated from law school, right? And coming from the perspective of a law graduate, but also looking at the reality of what we face, right? Do I believe he will be convicted? I'm in the middle, right? Do I think that the prosecutors really sold the case like they should? No, I do not.
Thank you.
They did not sell that
Thank
case
you.
like they should. Now, I'm not going to sit here and down them as attorneys and say, oh, they were bad. No, they weren't. But could they have defended and executed that case from a different perspective? Absolutely, I do. Speaking of the times that we're in, ladies and gentlemen, I won't be surprised at what we get. If he's found guilty, I'm looking for him to give him 10 years. And me and you and everybody on this live understand that's not enough, right? And I'm also looking for him not to be guilty, because, I just still remember that time when George Zimmerman verdict came out. I was still in college, and I was sitting on my aunt's bed, and it stunned me, right? I couldn't believe it. But after you've gone through this over and over, and you understand the justice system, because understand this, ladies and gentlemen, racism is economics, right? It's the root of it all is money. You see, they're not killing the Jews, right? Because after the Holocaust, after those 6 million people died, you see, they're no longer killing the Jews, because quiet as it kept, the Jews own the banks. We talk about Asians. The police aren't killing the Asians, right? So but they're only killing black people. And the reason why they're killing black folks, because they understand the only thing we're going to do is protest, right?
Baby, marching ain't worked since King era. Marching is cute, but baby, we got to do something else.
Right. We have to understand local government, ladies and gentlemen. And I keep on preaching that, because your local police force, ladies and gentlemen, the city gives your local police force money to operate. Your city, hear me good. Your city funds the police. The police department gets funding from your city. Lakeland, Florida has over a $600 million budget. Half of that budget goes to the police department. So how can we change that? A lot of you say, well, Allison, what can we do? How can we change it? Get involved in your local government. Hold these people accountable. Run for election. And you could be sitting around the table and say, what? No, we're not giving this much money to the local government. We're going to go give this to the youth program. We're going to go give this to the senior programs. We're going to go give this to affordable housing so we can have more affordable housing in our community. More transportation to ensure that our children get to and fro and our elders get to and fro. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a way around this system. We just have to find the way.
Jersey did something like that, right?
New York City just ended qualified immunity, but that doesn't really do much for the monetary part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then let me just go ahead and see, we have to start paying attention, because Ron DeSantis came to Lakeland, Polk County, Florida today. And he just signed the HB1 bill, which is the anti-riot bill, which it qualifies if you get out there and protest and you get loud or whatever, that's a 3rd-degree felon. So we're fighting that right now. It was just signed today. So, ladies and gentlemen, understand what is going on in your local community. If you have no idea what's going on in your local community, you don't know what's going on at the top.
Oh, Allison, that was great. Let me tell you something. So Allison came on the page the other day. She is running for city council in Lakeland, Florida, and she made a very valid point the other day. She said when you're voting, you have to start from the bottom up.
Yeah.
We start at the top. Everybody want to vote for the president and vice president. You have to start at the bottom up, because you have to vote for those aldermen, city council, treasurers,
different districts.
Yes, and meet those people, talk to those people, because they're easier to get to than it is a president or a vice president. You can see them all the damn time. Bring Nick back in. Y'all make sure y'all follow Al Lewis Lakeland. And she needs money. Y'all contribute to her. Y'all go to her page. She got a powerful platform. And I'm telling y'all, we need these young black sisters, because the young black sisters is taking over. Speaking of young black, old black. Hey, big black.
Lauren, she is on fire today.
But like that, right? It creates, good discussion, right?
We do.
Okay.
You know what? I don't know that we ever. Here we go. If Flame were solemn and demure, I don't know what would that be like.
We wouldn't have this show. Let me just say that.
Exactly. So, so one thing I do want to move into. Oh, go ahead, Nick. Yeah.
And Lauren, this is what we're talking about. You, Flame, and I had a whole idea. Oh, this is what we're going to discuss on Monday. But the conversation becomes so organic. How do we not just piggyback off of what we just heard from both her and Bobby, right? I mean, they're bringing, this is why the conversation, I feel like, just works. Because you sit there and you're like, wow, I love just the honesty and the transparency and all that. Because you do have to get out there and meet the people who are actually running for these local offices and actually know what's happening in your community, or else for not.
Yeah, absolutely. But on that note, I do want to segue into our next topic, which was there was a recent 60 Minutes interview that was released, I believe yesterday, and it was around the Oath Keepers. And it was saying that some of these Oath Keepers came out to say that they received some of their insight and training from actual police and military officials. So part of this was so more than 400 people now have been charged in one of the most complex investigations of the Department of Justice, which was the January 6th insurrection. The FBI is now calling it obviously an act of domestic terrorism. And one of the groups that were involved in this was the Oath Keepers. The Oath Keepers actually get their name because they're in their Constitution, if you want to call it that. They're saying that they are defending what was taken from the U.S. Constitution. That's part of their foundation of their entire group. So I think that's very interesting to say that in a lot of ways, a lot of things are coming to light. We see a lot of things. We've talked about the racism and the different things that are happening with police, but to also take it a step further to say that we're really now understanding, because NBC also did an investigation, that police and military people specifically, whether while still on the job, a lot of them are ex-police or ex-military officials, are actually a part of a lot of these white supremacy groups. So I think that's going to be...
You ex-military, are you part of a white supremacist group, dear? I'm asking for a friend.
I am not. I didn't pass the test.
Which test was that? Was that a written or oral?
It was one where if the lights were out and they could not find me, I didn't belong in the room.
Ooh.
There you go. So
Turn off the lights.
No,
and light a candle.
I'm going to say this. This is what I believe. I believe that Oath Keepers and nationalist groups are really about nationalism and nativism more than I think they are, I believe, the organization itself. I think that unfortunately so many of these organizations, specifically military, specifically law enforcement, people in those groups, in Oath Keeper, tend to be drawn to groups like that because they either look for that type of camaraderie, that type of shared ideology and belief. But part of that report also talked about how original parts of the Oath Keepers, they split. They're like, whoa, this just went in a whole different direction. We weren't talking about storming capitals and all that. We were talking about what we see as defending the Constitution, and you've taken it too far. I think that when you start talking about an us versus them and turning weapons on other members of the citizenry, you've got a problem. You've got a problem. And it was interesting to see the men, women of color in this Oath Keepers group. And I'm like, wow, how did that kind of happen?
Well, I'll say two things. One, to your first statement of it's based in nativism. That is so baffling to me because white people really think that they're natives of this country. And they're not.
Yes.
They are not.
Yes.
But so
Yes.
that idea, it's really laughable for me because when we have people trying to immigrate to this country and we have these white politicians, I saw the governor of, I think it was South Dakota, made a comment that she basically told the Biden administration, I'm not allowing immigrants to come to my state, so sucks to suck, is basically what she said. She said basically, come back and talk to me when you become American citizens, and maybe I'll let you come into my state. So it's baffling to me to see that these political officials and, Oath Keepers and white militia groups have all of these, we were born here and Jews will not replace it. Y'all weren't born here. You guys' ancestry immigrated to this country and stole land from others. And that's how y'all got here. And I just think that this is why we talk about history needs to be written properly because this is not your land.
This
never
land
was.
is your land.
Raped,
This
pillaged.
land is
I mean,
my land.
It goes down the list, right, Lauren? But I think this is also part of the greatest bamboozlement, right? Because we talk about minorities. Imagine a world where everyone who was not white, whatever that means, decided that they were going to unite and say, you know what? Maybe I'm tired of being treated like a second-class citizen. No, this time I really mean it. So what I'm not going to do is allow you to redline where I can live, pre-structure how I can vote. No, I'm taking it back. Can you imagine a world where those who are literally the minority, because there are fewer white faces whatever it means to be, pure white, whatever that means. If those who were even a shred of a group tied to a minority were to step up and just say, we're not doing this anymore, it stops now, I can only imagine the amount of uncomfortable truths so many people would have to live with.
Well, I've been saying that when they killed Adam Toledo, that's what I said. Now you see that it's spilling over. We need to band together. All minorities should band together. That's one. Two, there's no such thing as pure shit anymore. Nothing is pure. As much. Let me take y'all on a history lesson for some of y'all who don't know. Y'all ain't gonna like it either. I don't give a two fucks. For all the ones who think that they're superior over our race or superior when we were slaves, if you hated us, you thought we had diseases, your husband didn't, because he wouldn't stay his nasty ass out the slave quarters to get some of that black girl magic. And the white women would not stop carrying on with the slaves because the husband didn't want her, so she had to go get the slaves. The sad part was when she ended up and got pregnant, because the slaves' pullout game wasn't that good, or she got caught up, they would cut the slave's penis off and skin him alive because she would say that he molested her. She molested him. Not all white folks, but a whole bunch of them did do that. There is no such thing as a pure race. Everybody is mixed. Even Columbus came over here passing out syphilis, messing up everybody. Well, he did. He was screwing all of them indigenous people, giving them syphilis. Baby, Google it. It's on Google. It's on Google, iHeart, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, all that. But there is no pure race. So what we keep looking for, that you will never get, all that I want would be 100% Aryan. There is, if you go back through the bloodlines, there is no 100% nothing. Not even black folks. We ain't even 100% because they're all up in our DNA. We are all mixed up in with each other. And as soon as we understand that all these mixtures, we all got a blood type, but all our blood is red. We all got a different blood type, but all our blood is red.
We just got a breaking news alert. Jurors have been sent to go deliberate. So
good.
This is
they should be back before we get off, and we'll be off in about 15 minutes. They should be back with the answer in about 15 minutes. Shit. It was a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Shit. Guilty. Period.
Lauren, I do want to make sure that we hit that last topic before.
Oh, about Kim Potter?
Because I do think
she lives in a gated community now since she killed that young man.
I think that's the craziest thing ever. And honestly, I watched a news story because even her neighbors have an issue with it. The police force thought that she was in danger. They literally built a fortress for this woman after she murdered Daunte Wright. So she has a fortress built in front of her house with the Minnesota taxpayer dollars. So that way she can feel safe and protected. And even some of her neighbors who look just like her said that they don't think that this is a good idea and what kind of message is just sending to everybody else. So she has protection, and y'all can't protect the people that you were sworn to serve. I'm very confused. So.
And specifically, guys, for those who don't know, we are definitely talking about Miss Porter, the home of the Brooklyn Center, former Brooklyn Center officer. Her house is surrounded right now, who was charged with manslaughter and the shooting death of Daunte Wright, is being protected by wire fences and multiple uniformed police officers at the taxpayers' expense.
Let me tell you what's fucked up about paying taxes in America. We pay for people to do bad shit to us. We were just talking about the military and the oath thing. We pay for them to be in the military, for them to come out to become racist ass police officers and part of all these white supremacist race groups that will hate and kill and hurt black people. We pay to get them trained. We pay to get them, because if you look at January the 6th, so many ex-military were involved in that because they had the tactical training.
Police officers and fire department and the fire department too.
And Lauren, not just X. Some of them were still, unfortunately.
And we were paying for that. We are paying because I work. So we pay for that. We all work. Everybody who on here who works, you're paying tax dollars. We're paying them to fuck us up. I hate to say it so blunt, but that's the truth. So we're paying for this. This woman killed this boy. Because as many times as she hollered, taser, 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 the gun was this far away from her. My blind ass can't see right here, but I would have saw that neon yellow on that gun while I'm hollering taser, taser, taser to realize, bitch, you ain't got a taser. That's your 9. She still shot this one boy one time and killed this boy.
Just in the interest of letting people know, one of the reasons Miss Potter is getting the protection.
Killer Potter. You keep calling her Miss.
Killer
Potter.
there have been threats against her life.
Good.
And everyone who is born in the United States has the right of presumption of innocence until proven guilty. So it is in everyone's interest to see justice served. This is the idea. And what you don't want is vigilante justice, because in the same story we read today also, the officer who testified on behalf of Derek Chauvin has had a couple of pigs' heads thrown on his doorstep.
Okay. So it's interesting. So how does it feel to be harassed and targeted now? It's not nice, is it?
Great question.
That's very interesting.
Not good at all.
It's very interesting.
Well, hit with Potter, with the murderer Potter, Killer Potter. That's what we're going to call the bitch, Killer Potter. 26 years on the force. How many other mistakes have you made that we don't know about that ended in somebody's life or demise? 26 years.
Before or after becoming a training officer?
Right, because she was training, a killer was training another killer. So did they have to bring him out and what do they do when they put you in those things and they trying to make you forget everything you learned and restart you over, reprogram him? Did they have to reprogram him because he was trained as a killer? He watched the killing in real time, just like us, but he was actually there. So did they have to reprogram him? Because right now she trained the killer. A killer trained the killer. If he was paying attention to her. This fucked up. I'm telling you something right now. I don't think that she deserves offense, and I think they shouldn't even have no long trial for her. It don't need to be long and drawn out. That's more taxpayer dollars. I'm tired of paying taxes. Trump only paid $1,500. Shit, that's how much I want to pay.
$750.
I'm sorry, $750. Shit.
Yes, you doubled it.
That's even less.
But if Miss James has her way, he'll end up paying a little bit more than that because she is not stopping.
Oh, I'm waiting
She's playing
for that.
the slow game.
That's a whole nother situation.
She's playing the long game. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that, Allison coming on here and, just kind of breaking everything down, I think that it's great. I think that we are going to have more of us and by us, I mean actual people for the people in these elections, because especially at the local level, because that's the only way it seems like things are going to start changing. I mean, at least in California, our new attorney general, because we got rid of Jackie Lacey. Thank God I did not vote for her either. Our new attorney general is starting to do a lot of good. He's reopening cases. He's firing different cops that have done wrong. So I think that's probably a good start for us. How we progress from that, I don't know yet. I think that some more strategy needs to be involved, but definitely, at least starting at the local level is the only way we're going to see some type of reform or change, because I think pretty much in every city across the country, if I'm not mistaken, the police department gets the most of the city budget. Anywhere. I don't really know of any city that the police department is not at the head of getting the most dollars, and it's not necessary. The fact that the police officers get more money than the firemen is also baffling to me. I don't understand that either.
I think less about that to me. I think, Lauren, I think the real change needs to be in the demilitarizing of local police agencies, right? I do think that there's something about the message it sends when they show up in full tactical riot gear to maybe a peaceful demonstration of, older women walking arm in arm for, the death of someone in their community. I don't know that that's the proper response. That it sends a message to me that I feel like you're not part of the community, that you're here to somehow, keep control over those who make
sure, we've been saying that the whole time. And then look at that. You just brought up a very valid point. Right. They came in full riot gear last week in Minnesota when they were outside the police department. But January the 6th, they were told not to even come out and do anything. Meanwhile, we lost 6 people.
Or they stood off for 78 minutes and waited.
Yeah, baby, let me tell you something. Y'all better pay attention. What Allison said is what we've been saying the entire fucking time. The entire time we have been saying, you got to get these young people who look like you and think like you. Just because they're your skin color don't mean they're going to have your best interests at heart. But you got to get them while they're young and in college before they get blemishes on their records, so we can get them in politics. Like she said, we got to start from the bottom up. We keep voting for president, vice president, secretary of state. Vote locally to put people in positions that think like you, that have your same, and that care about the American people, that care about their neighbors. And their neighbor ain't got to be the same color, but you care about your neighbor. That way it'll go higher up as they go higher up, and you'll know the person who's going into that position. Now, money changes shit. So, you might start off as a good Democrat young, and then they say, well, I'm going to give you $1 million if you switch over. Kind of like a lot of y'all doing for that vaccine. But we ain't going to talk about that this week.
Well, I think that's a good point, even in what we're saying too, because I don't know. Also, too, of what Eric Nelson said today in his argument was that police officers are put in these communities, so they have to automatically protect themselves, and it's like that's not how that works. And obviously, if you don't know proper tactics of how to de-escalate a situation, that's not the neighborhood for you. That's not where you should be going into, because I heard that, and I was just like, and that's part of the problem too, is because you have these white officers going into these urban neighborhoods where they're automatically on high alert, and there's all these crimes, and the crime rate is high, and they turn into cowards, and they just start shooting and saying, well, I'm in this really bad neighborhood, I got to be able to protect myself. That's also part of the perpetual problem.
And I have said all weekend, Lauren, thank you for bringing that up, all weekend, it does not take courage to pull a gun. It takes courage not to pull that trigger, because you know how to handle the situation, because you've been trained for it. You have the mental capacity. That guy, the lieutenant last week, he should teach a class, because when I tell you, he handled that situation so well, but the guy still tased him, need him. Even when we're doing right, even when we're following protocol, everything that we were taught in the black household, keep your head low, don't move, keep your hands still, don't make no sense. Even when you're doing always the right thing, you could get a shithead officer who wants to prove whatever point he wants to prove to himself. It is jacked up, Nicholas. It is so crazy. And back again, stop putting little crazy Billy in the hood. Because little crazy Billy didn't grow up in the hood. He already terrorized the mama, putting the cat's tail on fire, the nigga, and set the house on fire. But Uncle Johnny get this job as a police officer. Y'all get him a badge and a gun and a license to kill us, because y'all done already told him we don't like these kind of people. They not for us. So he already got that ingrained in his head already with the other crazy shit and the 15 people in his head talking to him. Little Barron Trump special song. Woo!
No, I think every
and you released them on us. I don't like that, because we still lose. Y'all knew this nigga was crazy. The mother, look at Indianapolis. The mother knew that little 19-year-old boy was crazy and told the police, and they reported him. They came and took both the guns. He went about 2 more guns, and now 8 people dead. See, y'all know when y'all kids fucked up, especially during the pandemic, because you stuck at home with them all the time. So now all those letters that was coming from the school, little Billy is a handful. My baby is perfect. Now you want to write the letter back to the teacher and say, yeah, he is a little fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
I had a good time. Look at Lori Hope.
I did too.
We got arms out. We giving you arms.
It's a little warm in California today. I was not trying to. And we in this garage also a little
and
warm
we can't
in here.
turn the fan on. So bitch,
Triple doesn't let us turn on the fan because she says it affects the audio. So we just have to sweat through it sometimes.
I got sweat on both sides of my boobs. Let me just say that. The high ones and the low ones.
So this weekend, for anyone who has not, because it has been a heavy week, and I told you I connected with some friends this weekend. I was with in an outdoor theater, 20 of us, watching Laugh and Learn, Laugh and Learn, and then we watched They Ready, and they're like, "You don't know Flame." I'm like, "I know Flame." "You really know Flame?" So I had to prove to people that I knew. Flame was effing hilarious. So you are effing hilarious, Flame Monroe.
I better be Friday with Tiffany Haddish, because I'm back on They Ready tour this Friday, ladies and gentlemen, and then Sunday and Monday.
I said all that's exciting. That's
I'm ready to get back on stage with my fat ass, and I'm excited. I just want to tell everybody, thank you for joining us for Laugh and Learn. I'm telling you, we always say we pride ourselves on having the smartest listeners on the internet, because the information that you give us and that we give y'all back, you can't buy that, and it's authentic, it's real, and we want y'all to come always real. We are almost in the middle of, this show 23?
Yeah, 23.
We got 52. We almost at the halfway point.
Shoot, yep.
And I thought they was going to fire me about 3 weeks ago. But, Nicholas, where can we find you, my darling?
You can always find me in your heart. Oh,
that's gas. Boo.
Like, get up out of my heart. Listen, you can find me at Nick Smith News on all social media platforms. At Nick Smith News.
And you can find me on YouTube at Lauren Hogan. She's over here blaming me, y'all. I'm Lauren Hogan on YouTube and also Lauren Armani H on Instagram. That you can find me there. And where can everybody find you, Flame?
Right here in my garage. I'm about to go eat these oxtails. No, you can find me on Flame Monroe on YouTube, Marcus Flame Monroe Parker on Facebook, Flame_Monroe on Instagram. On Twitter, and Monroe Flame on Instagram. You can also catch me weeknights at 6:30 p.m. That's Central Pacific Standard Time for Love Lounge, which is my favorite thing to do. And we do Coffee Time daily. But what we want you to know is that we want you guys to be safe. I don't know the verdict. None of us does. But it is a very scary time in America. It is a very scary time for everyone. This is not just black and white. This is all Americans get involved, because if it goes down, if you look like one of them and they're rioting, they will hurt you. If you look like one of us and they're rioting, they will hurt you. Sometimes we don't look like our name. Sometimes we're just dark hue, but we're not black. Look at the guy last week, the lieutenant last week. He was Latino. He just had dark hue. Sometimes you're very light and you're not white, but if you walk into a riot like they did Rodney King, they pulled the guy out the truck, then you're just attacked. I'm telling you guys, please be cautious, be careful, and be smart. That's all I can tell you. Be cautious, be careful, and be smart. And in the words of T.T. Jan, keep your head on a swivel so you can see everything that's going on around you. Stay off your phones. Every day there's a mass shooting. Every single day it seems to be a mass shooting. Stay off your phones. Pay attention to what's going on around you, because they not coming in with long trench coats on no more. They so bold now, they walking out the parking lot with a gun in hand and blowing up the grocery stores. Please pay attention. Get your ass to a freezer. If you in a grocery store and a supermarket, go to the freezer and hide in the freezer. I'm telling you, you want to just come out of it safe. Baby, you could be cold for 10 minutes as opposed to being cold forever. Shit. I know that sounded brutal, but it was the truth.
No, seriously. I think that's the best way to close it out is please just stay safe this week. I have to travel. Flame has to travel. We're going to be as safe as possible since we're not going to be at home. Go to the grocery store, stock up on food, stock up on water, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
When are you coming back to work, dear? I'm just wondering. I'm asking for a friend.
You're not talking to me, right?
I'm talking to that.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
That nigga right there.
I'll be back next Monday. Shoot.
Oh, me!
Okay, Marky Mark said that the medical examiner just ruled cause of death for Capitol official killed January 6th as a stroke and natural causes. See, all of that's bullshit. If he had a stroke, they gave it to him. It wasn't because the bills came. Y'all get ready now. If that man brace yourselves for this decision is what I'm going to tell y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Laugh and Learn. And what is my partner's message every week that we close with?
We are not trying to get anybody to change their mind.
We're simply trying to get you to use your mind.
And in order to do that, you need some of these oxtails, and you have to have a mind, because me and Kendall about to go eat oxtails. I don't know what y'all about to do, but we're going to eat oxtails. Join me tonight for Love Lounge, 6:30 p.m. Thank you, guys. Please like, subscribe, and share. We are on Apple, iHeart, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. And Black Effect Network is now getting a YouTube channel, so yay for Black Effect Network. You know they black. It take them a minute, y'all. Okay, but we appreciate you guys so much, and we love you, and the check's clear. Thank you so much. Laugh and Learn. We will see you next week. Peace. Bye, Nick. Bye, Flamettes.
Bye-bye.